Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to A Better Way to Do Friday. That's right. Got the beat. it's like time freezes at that point.
Yeah, it really is. That's normally how they do it in the TikToks.
There we go. We're back. It's Graham and Addy with a different time of the week. Well, not a different time of the week. It's the same time of the week. It's Friday, but it's a different time of the day on Friday. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Hey, time is just a spectrum.
It is. And a ZX81 for all of you who are old enough to remember that reference. And for those who aren't, I'm sorry about that. That was old tech speak. Some of you are now Googling that to see what's what. Hey,
very much doubt it.
I launched our first ever newsletter yesterday. Can I just say
I know you did.
Can I just say a couple of things on that? One is you were really annoyed with me because we did a newsletter, and quite frankly, newsletters are a really old hat. But secondly, the way you did the newsletter was slightly different from everybody else, and it's gone rather well. So we've already got over 1,500 people subscribed. Thanks, everyone, for subscribing to the newsletter.
I really hope a load of people come today, so I can rant about newsletters to them and why it's bad, why we don't need them. But hell,
yeah,
but it is a better way to do Friday.
It is a better way to do Friday. But if you are going to do a newsletter, ours is a great example of how to do it well. And certainly don't just make it boring newscast, because that is really dull.
We've already got the news for that. We've got the news.
We have got the news for that. Yeah, we've definitely got the news for that. So yeah, we're going to be really dropping it this afternoon, talking about all things social media. If you've got any questions to ask about social media, you know where to bring them.
Please ask questions to us. Bring your questions, bring your comments about social media. I'm going to talk over the top of this music so that LinkedIn does not realise that music is being played. Oh, yes.
That's clever.
We will do what every Twitch streamer has done in history and talk very loudly over the music.
We will faff with the mechanisms. We will analyze the algorithms, and we will put them into a little sandwich.
Most of the algorithms need at least a couple of seconds of clean music. So as long as you don't leave a couple of seconds at any particular time, you can have whatever music you want on.
Yeah.
At that point, it becomes pointless. But you could do it.
There's a technical term for music that sits underneath vocals, which is a bed. So if we refer to it again, we may refer to it as a bed. If we're talking about that, we're not talking about vice-sprung mattresses or duvets or anything like that. So we're just talking about the bit of music that goes underneath vocals. Okay, technical term. That's technical term for you for today. Bed. I like that.
Oh, I put bricks behind me. Great. What is it with every other platform's got creative backgrounds. Why is one of the 2 default backgrounds on LinkedIn bricks?
Well, to be fair, this is StreamYard, which is separate from LinkedIn. Okay,
sorry,
so
StreamYard's default is bricks or
I've broken
into someone's house.
That's rather nice, isn't it? You've got a semi-grand there in the corner.
Shut up, Timmy.
Yeah. Nice fireplace there, which is really useful when it's roasting outside.
Fireplace.
Yeah. I'm sure that you can actually upload your own background as well, though.
Yeah, you can.
So if you are using StreamYard, then you can do that. I want to talk about LinkedIn Lives actually, because we were contacted yesterday by someone that said help. And actually, we've had this several times this week. People that are suddenly deciding that they ought to be doing LinkedIn Lives and have absolutely no clue about LinkedIn Lives. So let's just dispel some of the myths to begin with. One, with LinkedIn Lives are streaming onto the LinkedIn platform. Other platforms are available. And in fact, the packages that you use, like StreamYard, which is the one, you can see that in that top corner over there, they stream to lots of different platforms. So you can, with this one, you can stream to Twitch, you can stream to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you know, you name it, you can stream to it. Okay. In fact, if you use other broadcasting packages, you can go on and on and on, and you can do multiple. You can stream to multiple platforms all at once. So just so you know, there isn't something that just happens on LinkedIn. There isn't a piece of software within LinkedIn itself that enables you to just do a live, right? You do have to use a third-party application in order to stream. Otherwise, it won't happen. Secondly, so that's the first thing. Secondly, you have to apply for LinkedIn Live. We've been talking to a number of people this week that just went, "Where is my LinkedIn Live? Where do I've been told I ought to be doing a LinkedIn Live. Where is it? Where is the facility for me to do the LinkedIn Live? Which button do I press?" Unless you apply for it and you're successfully granted membership of the Imperial LinkedIn Live team, you can't broadcast on LinkedIn Live. So you need to do the application.
System, isn't it?
It's a
That's
weird
an
system.
interesting system.
I know, but you know why? What they want you to do is when you do the application for it, they want you to say what it is that you're creatively going to use LinkedIn for in terms of live content. They want to have a little look at your profile to see if you've been doing any video, because if you haven't, you know, they might suggest that maybe you start doing a little bit of video content first, which is a really good idea.
I wonder how easy it is to get through this process, right? I wonder how.
I think it's becoming easier. I think it's becoming easier.
I wonder if I could do a little experiment where it asks you what it says. It says, "What do you want to do?" Or like, what is the question that it asks you?
It asks you multiple questions about what you're going to use the platform, what you're going to use LinkedIn Live for, what sort of video content you're currently putting out, you know, who your key audience is, what sort of content you're going to produce for that audience, etc. You know, are you going to use this for informing? Are you going to use this for training? Are you got etc. etc. So,
do you think if I just wrote the word "no" on all of the fields, I'd still get accepted?
I don't know. Have you got the application form up there now?
I can. We can do this live on stream.
We could do, but I mean, it's pretty dull. It's pretty dull, so we probably won't do that. So anyway, that's the second thing, is you do need to go through the application process. And just to make things ever so much more complicated as well, when you do the application, there's the opportunity to apply for either your company page, which you will get much, much quicker if you do your company page, because quite frankly, nobody looks at them. So you can apply for your company page, or you can apply for your personal page. Okay, right. So just so we've clarified this now, you have to do an application. You have to decide where you're going to be broadcasting. I've done 2 applications, so I can broadcast anywhere I like. And you do need to have something in order to broadcast. All right. Beyond that, it's really fairly simple. So when you come in, I wish we could bring you backstage. That would be great. But when you come in backstage to a piece of software like this, it's not Zoom. All right. Basically, think about like backstage at a TV studio. If you've never been backstage at a TV studio, I have to now explain this to you. Really, what you have is all of the people that might be on screen will come into a backstage area, or like a green room. Think about a green room for Zoom chat, for Zoom meeting, etc. So they come in, you can see them at the bottom, and then you have to bring them into the stream in order to make them live. And then I've got a number of tools which I'm looking at on the screen on the right hand side now, including things like, just so I can give you some examples of this, banners. So for example, if we wanted to give out a little bit of information, we could go like this, and I could put a bit of information in, and it helps if I spell it right there, and I could just scroll it across the screen like this. Look at that information going across the screen. There we go. or I could do it like that, or I could even make it into a banner. Okay, so there's that. There's banners. You can change all of the branding. You have to make the graphics yourself. Okay, little tip for you: if you're making the graphics to sit in the background and you want to get the spots absolutely right, you need to work out all of the dims, which you can get off the StreamYard site, and you have to save the bits where the cutouts are as transparent within the PNG file. Okay, probably getting far too technical for most people now. Also, you can do videos, so you can upload little video clips. So, for example, our lovely favorite is the old countdown clock. That's a little video file, and all you do is you click on the video file, it shows you the video file, and away you go. All right, so there's video clips, and there's also not only are there overlays, which is where you'd have to do those things, but they're also background. So if I want to change the background and suddenly we're looking at coffee or something, the force like that, all right, or even
looking at the force.
Here we are live at a concert. Yeah!
Oh, finally.
There we go. Then you can do it just like that. So I hope that's given you a little bit of an overview. If you want to do LinkedIn Lives, do it. The other thing is to say, just have a little bit of an idea about what you're going to do first. This is a background. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, yes. I've just made this in the background of the video. I just like to be clear. Just want it to be pretty precise with what we've got going on.
That is the background.
That's the background. This is the foreground.
Everything else is just a filament of your emancipation. There you go. So that is that is what you can do to broadcast live.
Brilliant.
And have
Everyone
a practice.
Enjoyed that.
Have a practice first. You can do it. One of the options that these softwares give you as well is to use rather than stream out live, is to just record as well. So my suggestion would be, if you haven't done one before, when everyone first started doing this, and the first of us all got LinkedIn Lives, we saw shows all over LinkedIn where people were going, "Hi, I'm just practicing," which made them.
You know what's funny is they used to do that on Twitch as well. That was the beginning of Twitch. I can actually remember going on Twitch back when it started, and it would literally be
people practicing.
Hi guys, I'm gonna go live on Twitch in about 3 hours. So this is just me setting up my stream. So yeah, if you've joined now, that'll be what's happening in 3 hours' time.
Scott uses it for just record only. There you go.
I love that.
Yeah, do it. I mean, that's great, actually. And one of the things that I would say is, I'm not sure whether all the packages do this, but I know StreamYard does, and I'm pretty certain all of them now do. But it also gives you the opportunity that if you've pre-recorded material, you can then use that pre-recorded material to then select that and decide that you're going to stream that live, even though it's not live, onto a platform at set times.
It's live.
So that's really good. It's live. It's the first time it goes out. Clearly, it's not live like this is, where mistakes could happen. We haven't recorded it live, no. But that's a really good way of doing it as well. Is to record it first and then do that, because what you can do then is, which we do for things like this, is you can trailer the activity. So you can actually make little trailers first, give some little tidbits of what might be coming up.
Little teasers,
a bit like when you go to the cinema and you watch the trailers before the films.
We have actually just finished a massive overhaul of our show formats, right? Because almost all of our shows used to be live. Everything was recorded in the moment live. And we're
actually dead right now. We're not actually alive at all.
I could be dead, apart from we do a better way to do Friday live still. You'd never know. But yeah, we've swapped a load of our video format into pre-recorded now, and that just gives us a chance to be a lot more creative with our stuff. It makes our stuff a lot more fun for you all to come and watch, to have a bit of fun with. And it also means we can tease you with it and say, would you like to see this?
Yeah, and the other thing is, I mean, normally on the show as well, we get quite a lot of comments. I mean, I don't know whether we will get so many today because it's a different time of the day, and it's 3:00 on a Friday, and probably everybody's peeved off to the beach.
Gone home.
And that's fine. You'll all watch it later tonight. You'll come on tonight. Hey, oh, look at that. Afternoon, chaps. There you go. There's Chris. Afternoon. But
they slowly come out the woodwork.
Oh, they're slowly coming away from the coffee machine in the office. Well, not the coffee machine.
Have we done a better way to do Friday since we filmed the first episode of WoW? We have, right? Since we filmed. Yeah. But we've just finished editing the first episode, and we're working on episode 2. So that will be releasing soonish.
Yeah. Soonish.
So we're really excited about that one.
As soon as episode 2 is in the can, finished, etc., we shall be launching the new season of WoW. I updated the website yesterday, so that's got the trailer on it. If you go to wowergonomics.com, you can see the trailer. Had a little look yesterday at the website. Interesting stat. Over 35 views of the website in the last 18 months. So there we go. Over 35,000 views, 5,000 views in the last month. So for a quite niche ergonomic program, it's really going quite well.
Now look, I think some people are probably put off or immediately switch off as soon as you put, say WoW ergonomics, because it's got ergonomics in the title. But let me tell you, this show, the new season, is like nothing you've ever seen before. It's crazy. Okay, it's going to be some of the best content on LinkedIn by far. Don't even question it. Don't go looking for other content. It's the best piece of content. Yeah. Please do not fact check that in any way.
We might at some point just end up calling it WoW. Just because
and the people over at World of Warcraft can come for us.
Yeah, exactly. Just because there are so many people, actually, if we called it WoW, that would come for us, because it's an acronym for so many different things. But yeah, or it also has WoW in the title. Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? If you're going to come up with a title for a show, definitely you always have something that is excitable. If it's something like that,
that's interesting.
In fact, actually, the duller the subject, surely the better the title should be. Really good case in point. Go back to very quickly. Go back to newsletter. I know you want to, come in on this in a minute and really have a go at the newsletter. But here's another thing again. The titles of some of the newsletters I've seen flashing past me on LinkedIn over the last few weeks, because everybody's doing it. Oh, dull as dishwater. It's like ethnicity and cultural diversity in the workplace, a newsletter. Stats and understanding Excel spreadsheets.
Someone's put a load of work into it, and it's like, down a bit.
Yeah, because I just look at that. I look at them coming through and think that is the most.
Oh my lord!
So
I'll tell you what, I would love to go off on newsletters and just talk about what I think about the format. But if anyone is in chat and would actually be interested in hearing me do that, then I will go off on one. But if not, just don't comment about it, and I will not. So basically, someone in chat give me the go-ahead if they'd actually be interested to hear what I think about the format of newsletters.
Scott, if you'd like Addy to have a go at newsletters and say why he thinks newsletters just should not happen, full stop, do put something in the chat. If not, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our newsletter. So you've got two options now. This show is, dynamic. You've got the power in your hands. You can choose what comes next.
We have always been, and we still will be, about audience choice here on A Better Way to Do Friday. Yeah. You can decide your fate here. You can put the power in your hands.
Also, what's that mean? Now, come on, Scott. That isn't actually an answer, right? That's not going down on one side of the table or the other. Are you just calling us boring now? Or are you actually saying newsletters are boring? Come on.
Coming for newsletters.
Are you coming for newsletters, yeah?
Or are you coming for me? Because I'm fine with either one.
Yeah. Just come at it. Tell us the truth. Go for it. Look, you can also decide the content on here. If you bring in a question, if you've got any questions for us on social media, etc., you can decide the content. This is your show. It's not ours. We are literally just the facilitators of the conversation. We are not, we're not the...
It is ours. It's ours. You can't change anything. This is all preset.
In fact, it's all pre-recorded. We are AI.
We've actually just predicted your responses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bashing the basher.
Okay, do you know what, Addy? I'm going to make an executive decision here. Go for it. Tell us why we shouldn't be doing newsletters.
All right. Okay. I'm sorry if either of you write newsletters. I mean, Graham writes a newsletter, and it's really picked off. Newsletters belong in the 1900s. Okay, this is not a revolutionary format. This is something that was created literally years ago. I do not know why LinkedIn's cutting edge new feature that they've decided to go for is think of all the good new modern features that LinkedIn does not have but all the other socials have, that they could have spent time developing for the platform, but instead developed a feature that allows you to write a newsletter, something that most companies regularly publish anyway.
Okay, can I just hold you there just for 2 seconds? Because actually, yes. I have to come in and tell you, right, for a start, this is the reason they did it, is because they already had the feature there. The feature was called articles, and nobody was writing articles anymore. So they thought, here's a good one. Why don't we, within the article writing part of the program, why don't we allow people to write an article and then decide, no, actually, it's not an article, it's a newsletter. And that way people can subscribe to it and they get one a month. There you go.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. So, yeah, people really want to read your newsletter. And look, there'll be loads of people out there that think, well, I do like reading a newspaper or a newsletter. That's really, really cool. And sure, you could go through but what is to stop you just literally writing what you're trying to write as a post and writing it in longer format? Or
just getting the newsletter out to read.
Sorry. Yeah, just getting your newsletter out. What is the point when you could just either write it in a shorter format as a post or create a video piece of content that talked about it in longer form? I mean, would you guys? So can I upload one of my blog pieces to this feature? I would imagine.
Yes, so. You can. Yes, you can.
You could upload pretty much whatever you want. But also, wouldn't it be great if your blog just became a vlog and you just vlogged it, and you did it as a piece of video content? Wouldn't that be great? People much prefer to sit and listen to someone talk than read an article most of the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Or you can just create really interactive content, which gets everybody really, buzzing. All right. That would mean an even bigger audience. Ignore me. Yeah, no, I'll tell you what, Chris, why don't you try it? Okay. But here's a little tip, my friend. Here's a little tip. I called mine We Love Sausage Dogs. Now that, I'm just going to say, right, I just looked at all of those titles that were coming through. I decided that I'm going to talk about sausage dogs. And it's really kicked off. All right. So just think about what you're going to call it. Think about what graphic you're going to put on that. Because, I know, Chris, you work for Remtech, but if you just put like the Remtech logo on there and you put a deep dive into ergonomics and, adjustments for people, then nobody's going to read it. Nobody's going to read it.
Call it Remtech the Next Generation or something, and edit something to do with Remtech onto Star Trek or anything like that. Just
call it I was on Wow Ergonomics and now I'm famous. Call it that.
Yeah.
Call it since I did Wow Ergonomics. The press have been hounding me.
I would love to. First of all, you take one of your posts. Don't subscribe to yours, Graham, out of principle for the show. Hey, you see, that is the print. I'm also not subscribed to Graham.
That's absolutely fine.
You're right. You're right with me, Scott. Yeah. Look, I would love, Chris, if we could take one of your blog pieces and do it as a Graham could probably talk you through how to make that into a newsletter. And then I also take one and you record it for me, and I spend a little bit of time editing it into a video. And we just see which one's more entertaining,
which one hits best,
which one does a little bit better, just as a social experiment. And
yeah, we'd be happy to do that.
Maybe me and Graham can put a little wager on it, and we can have a drink at the pub or something.
No, absolutely, we'll do that. I'd absolutely be happy to do that.
Now,
little Brucey bonus, just a quick Brucey bonus. While I was opening up that newsletter, which actually wasn't a newsletter, it was an old program for a concert. But while I was pretending to read my old newsletter, look what dropped out. There we are, lovely. That's when I won a competition on Radio 1. Lovely. Yeah, I was look at the way he had to cross it all out. I was the first text of the day. But there's a great example, right? There's a great piece of content right there. First text of the day. How simple is that? All you do is you say to everybody out there, who's the first one in, first text of the day wins a prize. Just simple.
What I would like to do is, as this is a social media show, obviously if people have questions, brilliant. Chris is on board. We're going to do it. If people have questions, we're always happy to do questions. So just drop them in the chat if you think of anything. But since this is social media, I thought we'd talk about something that's happening on social media at the moment.
Brilliant.
It's something that I know you probably don't know about, Graham.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if anyone in the chat has heard about this guy called Andrew Tate. No. He's a new guy. He's kind of he's been around for a while, but he's really burst up in terms of views. And loads of people for the last this week especially, but last week as well, have been complaining that he's been popping up really frequently on their For You pages on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and all that. Videos of him keep popping up everywhere for everyone, no matter what they do. And obviously, because videos of him keep popping up on your page, they pop up more and more frequently as soon as one pops in, because then it recommends you another one and another one and another one, and you get trapped in a really big cycle. No, Alan and Chris Tate. I do not know if they are related, but I doubt it. Andrew Tate is a kickboxing champion from the UK. He is now like a major misogynist. That's kind of his big thing. He's got some very absurdist views on certain things, but he has managed to finesse his way into being big on everyone's algorithm, and this is how he's done it. Okay. I'd like to.
Oh, is that Trooper? Is that our little sausage dog that appeared on the newsletter?
Oh, yes. Right. Yeah. I'd love to expose how he's managed to do this, because we've, spent a group of people have spent some time working it out, and I'd love to share that all with you. So what he's done is Andrew Tate runs a marketing multi-level pyramid scheme. Basically, it's a pyramid scheme. He runs a pyramid scheme called Hustlers University. So it's a training course, and the initial entrance fee is $49. So you pay $49, you come in, and supposedly he teaches you how to become a millionaire because he's a millionaire. Right. So then what he does is, obviously there's different tiers, and you can upgrade your tiers and spend quite a lot of money in this program, and some people sink loads and loads of money. Now, if you're thinking I've spent a load of money, I'd love to make some of it back, fear not, because Hustlers University has you covered. So you can get money off your next course or get money back by having other people join Hustlers University using your code, which is a pyramid scheme. That's literally how they work. Okay, and the way that Andrew Tate's website recommends that you do this is he makes all his content available for them in a big download packet, in like clips, shorts, everything in a little download packet, and then they create channels all of their own that are to do with Andrew Tate, and they upload them in the algorithm.
Oh my.
And then it's really baffled because YouTube's algorithm wasn't ready for it. It literally is just echo chambered everyone's For You page, which is a system that was created in like 2019. This kind of tactic from Andrew Tate has really like just crippled everyone's For You page because it just echo chambers everyone upwards. And basically, as soon as you get one Andrew Tate video on your profile, that's it. You're going to spiral. There's not really a lot you can do to stop that from happening.
Oh my
YouTube
word.
has not managed to fix it yet. TikTok definitely hasn't managed to fix it yet. YouTube have actually just made a statement on the thing yesterday because it's become that big a thing. But look, they are gonna try and actively stop it from happening.
Yeah, what's Andrew Tate look like? Just out of interest.
He's kind of bold, very buff. You can Google him.
And what's his company name? Do you know what that's called?
Hustlers University.
Hustlers University. Okay. Yeah. I've just seen whether he's on LinkedIn, actually.
I don't know. Can you imagine?
No. Can you imagine?
I don't think this is the platform for him.
Well, I'll tell you. Well, let's just come over to that. You see, that's quite interesting in itself, isn't it? Right? He clearly doesn't see LinkedIn as a place where he can achieve this in the same way. All right, or where it's even worth bothering. So, which goes back to part of what we were saying earlier in earlier episodes of this about, you know, how far behind LinkedIn is in a way in terms of consuming content, because he knows it would take years for it to happen on LinkedIn.
He just it wouldn't be worth it. He'd be in jail long before that. For sure. He's done plenty of podcasts openly admitting he's a mafia boss at this point. So see how long he stays out of jail for.
So interesting with regards to that, and I don't know whether anyone that's listening remembers this or has heard about this before. But when I first came onto LinkedIn, there was a massive thing about pods. And so pods, for anybody that don't know, are basically groups of people, and you can pay these groups of people to be part of a pod who agree that they're all going to love each other's content on LinkedIn. So you can, if you pay to become part of a pod, it's not organic reach. And LinkedIn has really fought against pods over the years because, you know, it's a fairly obvious thing. Some people sort of disguise it up as, oh, we're a networking group, but actually it's a paid for subscription into a group where then, you know, you put your content out and everybody else in that group's then going to go, great content, fab, lovely, really enjoyed that. Okay, you can see when it happens, because quite often they don't do it correctly as well anyway, because quite often you get too many reshares, and actually then that pushes it down in the algorithm because people are resharing your content within the pod rather than actually commenting on it, because that's a one button click. But also the comments tend to be really superficial.
Yeah.
So when you start to, if you find yourself being followed by a pod because they're potentially then going to try and get you into the pod, you'll start to see the comments from people where it's like super great, lovely.
Interesting. I've never heard of this. That's crazy. That is crazy. What a system.
Well, it kind of makes sense within the algorithm of LinkedIn. You know, the more comments, the more likes you get. But I mean, that's why, you know, LinkedIn has had to become, has developed its algorithm over the years, because it's had to start, you know, not just looking at the fact that there is a comment there, but it has actually had to start analyzing that to see whether there's actually the start of a conversation going. And that is why, folks, really good tip of the day, but it's why, if you can actually get a proper conversation going with someone like a full thread in the engagement on the post, as opposed to just one comment, that's when you'll start to see your post really start to go. Right.
And do you think we'll see that disappear though? Because that doesn't happen that often on other platforms, because people have over time developed the idea that it's a little bit naff or a little bit cringy to have, like you just move it into DMs at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They are, Chris. I saw that earlier in my LinkedIn journey. The pod didn't like me giving advice to one of their members, and they all blocked me. That's the other thing. They will all do that as well.
Pod.
If you call a pod out, some of the influencers on LinkedIn, some of the main influencers, people like Chris Williams, for example, has been repeatedly attacked and then put into LinkedIn jail because he has upset pod members.
LinkedIn jail. What is LinkedIn jail?
LinkedIn jail just basically means where LinkedIn then turns around and goes, you're off the platform for a period of time. You've upset somebody. Really? Yeah. And then you're unable to do anything. You sit there in the background. You have to fight your case. You have to tell them, look, sir, I wasn't really doing that.
Wasn't me. Promise.
Wasn't me. I was being a good boy. So, I mean, the best thing to do is really, if you don't want to get involved in the pod, don't get involved in the pod. If you do want to get involved in the pod, that's up to you. But my advice is never really pee anybody off on LinkedIn.
Are these paid for things then? Sorry to be out the loop. You pay for a pod. You pay to be in a pod.
There are some pods that are not paid for. I mean, some people would say that everybody's got a pod to some extent. That's
what I was going to say. When does a community become a pod? Because
it's a very good question, isn't it?
Well, LinkedIn doesn't really have communities in the same way, to be fair, because every other social kind of has an inbuilt feature to help communities come together. So I don't know if LinkedIn has that.
Well, it does, but it's rubbish, and it's called groups. Obviously, there is a thing on LinkedIn called groups.
How do I get to that?
You can. It's okay. So in your LinkedIn profile,
right?
If you click on your profile and you go down the side underneath your name, you've got your who's viewed your profile, impressions of your posts, etc., and then it says my pages, and then underneath that you start going recent, and then it will say groups. And then if there's nothing in the groups, there's the opportunity to click on groups. And then when you're in groups, you can search for groups, and then you can either create a group or you can join groups.
I'm sorry, why is this so hidden?
Why is it so hidden? Well, that's a really good question, actually, because it, like a lot of things on LinkedIn,
I'm having trouble even finding groups. Okay, and you've just taught me through it. Hold on. What?
Okay, I'm going to share screen.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, and I'm going to go just in case people don't understand that there are groups out there and how groups work, etc. I'm now going to do groups for you all, so you understand this better. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen now. And there we go. Hi, this is us, and this is my screen, and here we go into my LinkedIn. There we go. Oh, nice picture of Jamie there. Hi, Jamie. So down this side, so under your LinkedIn profile here, click on the LinkedIn box at the side, and then you've got your picture, etc. And then underneath here, under recent, then you've got groups. Here we go. And there's all the groups I belong to. Okay, you can have a look at all of those. And then if I go into a group, so let's have a look. This is Influencer Marketing Association. There you are. There's a group. So this is made up of, this is a listed group. Groups can be ones where you have to be accepted into them, or they just accept you straight away, etc. This was one where you have to be accepted into it. There will be rules of engagement for any group. So when you set up a group, etc., it will tell you, it will ask you what's the criteria for letting people in, and you can put in there things like no promoting your business in there, etc. Over here, look, about this group. Okay,
look at this in the chat though. Look, Chris agrees. It's a lot of effort to find. On Facebook, I just type in. I mean, on Facebook, I type in my interest, and then it recommends first of all the communities of people that are all in those groups. I mean, it will do groups first. I don't understand why it wouldn't. But okay, look, I've been invited to a group, so this is great. I will join.
You may have all noticed, and it's just started happening recently, that sometimes when you post now, the algorithm is beginning to read because they certainly want to do more with groups. I can see that, because groups have become kind of like a black sheep over there, not overly used particularly. And yet it could be really,
why.
It could be really powerful if people actually knew. But Scott's just invited you to a group, so that's nice. We can all go and join that lovely group. Yeah, but the algorithm is now reading your post, and occasionally you will get a little pop-up, and it will say, this is great that you've written about this. Would you like to join this group? So actually it is now starting to go, right, okay, maybe we need to use a little bit of clever AI technology to go, this person's talking about this. Perhaps
Stop. It's not clever. Don't give it so much credit. Every other platform has this sorted, okay? There's no need for creative AI use or whatever, okay? You just hashtags. LinkedIn doesn't actually understand what hashtags are for, because this is exactly the reason hashtags were created. Okay, the algorithm is meant to identify which hashtags you like, so which posts that you go to that use those hashtags, and then meant to recommend you more hashtags that belong in the same group. LinkedIn's hashtags fundamentally do not do that. The only way don't stop me. The only way that LinkedIn's hashtags like completely affect you are, and I bet LinkedIn's AI I just bunny quoted. I bet LinkedIn's AI fundamentally just monitors hashtags. I bet it's not that smart. But the only way for me to fully find a hashtag is to actually probably put the hashtag and then search it into the thing.
Correct. Yep.
That's the only way for me to be recommended. Let's put it in.
Yeah. No, if you are using
hashtag, I just put hashtag trending into LinkedIn, and actually, it didn't even offer me other hashtags that would be related to it. It just offers me. Oh, okay. It's an interesting system, folks.
It's really interesting. It's really quite slow. But now here's something I will tell you. A few weeks back, probably about 3 weeks back, loads of people overnight had what they thought was an issue with their LinkedIn. Right. And actually what happened there was LinkedIn overnight really let slip something that they are working on. Because what happened was the UX UI all changed overnight for most people, and the reason being is when you do a search on your LinkedIn at the moment, or when you first go into your LinkedIn, your content feed is really set by the people that you look at the most. All right. Mm-hmm. But what happened overnight was you couldn't see anybody that you deal with the most. And what they've done is that they changed this interface so that all of the searches were by the hashtags that you follow.
Right. Brilliant. That's great.
Now, it is, apart from, you want both. So I think what they're doing, and this is just conjecture, but I think what they're doing is they're working on behind the scenes alternative views for content, so that actually if you want to just search social media,
also almost like tabs, almost like different tabs at the top. That would be crazy. It's almost like we need to remove jobs as a tab or messaging. I'll tell you why I think messaging should be removed from the top as a tab.
Yeah.
Because at all times on your screen, it's at the bottom of your screen as well. So I essentially have two options to access messaging at any time when I'm on LinkedIn. So I do not need a messaging tab when I can access it from the bottom of my UI as well.
Yeah. One week, I think we really should invite someone from the UX UI team from LinkedIn to come onto this program and just have a, tell us why it's as it is.
Here's a good question for everyone that's watching and for you as well, Graham.
Yeah.
Why doesn't LinkedIn have a trade show, an online trade show? Right? So, every other company that's a big tech company, whether they be Instagram or Twitter for socials, or even games companies, they do big tech things, music people, Sony, all of the big companies. Microsoft certainly know how to hold a trade show. All of them, they have their own, either online if they're a smaller company or in person if they're a bigger company. LinkedIn would probably have to do it online. They have a once a year thing or 3 times a year thing where they talk about what upcoming features they've got and what they're working on, and talk to the community about it and like to hear back about that. LinkedIn does not do this. They kind of LinkedIn as a company seem to squirrel away what they're working on, be secretively working on it without asking anyone whether they'd like that or not, and then release it and go, "Did you like that? Was that good?"
They do have people that they communicate with within the community. They do have little.
Why not have an open event? Why? Yeah. Every other company has one.
No, it's a very good idea. Perhaps we're suggesting to them. Chris, have you got a venue that they could?
Stop making excuses for them. They do have people they talk to. That's great.
Now, one of the things we potentially will disagree on,
all right,
me and Addy, is that because a lot of people really love LinkedIn. Now, I know you don't particularly, as a platform, particularly like it, but can you see why? And perhaps anyone that's in the that is actually listening, perhaps you can join in with this. Why do you actually love LinkedIn? What is it about LinkedIn? We see so many posts about, I love this platform, I love this community, I love, LinkedIn, I couldn't live without LinkedIn, etc. What is it about LinkedIn in particular that you love, and why aren't you feeling that on other platforms? Because
I've got some theories.
Okay. I knew you would have.
Something I think about quite a lot. Okay, so first of all, I don't hate LinkedIn. I just think it's massive, the amount of mistakes they make that seem to be like rookie errors for a big social media company.
Schoolboy errors
from LinkedIn. But okay, here's my first theory, and this is the main one that I always go to first of all, right? People really love LinkedIn because it's the wild west of social media, okay? So what you're gonna get on LinkedIn that you don't, the things that other platforms have that LinkedIn doesn't have. So like Twitter, you are not going to get the same level of abusive comments and stuff that you get on Twitter on LinkedIn. Yep. Obviously, you won't get them on any other platform, but you're not going to get them on LinkedIn. You get a much slower pace of stuff on LinkedIn than you do on TikTok and Instagram, where you have to post 3 to 5 times a day on TikTok and Instagram to be really
you can post
big.
once and that's enough. Yeah.
On LinkedIn. Okay. Yeah. That's the second thing that people probably really like. The third thing I think people like, and this is the big one, I think people really love that no one knows what's going on. I think people really love. Okay, so yeah, all right, I'll talk about it. People really love, I think, the fact that on all the other platforms there are established ways of doing things, and those ways that are established and the ways of doing things are mostly known to the younger generations. Okay, and that can be disorientating for people that are not part of those generations. Like, there's loads of unwritten rules to making content that are just intuitive and known to younger people, and it's like a minefield to make your way through. Well, that doesn't exist on LinkedIn because you guys all got here first, okay? No young people were on LinkedIn, or especially not till recently. But it was certainly not it's certainly not seen as like a hip, trendy social media, and because of that, it means there's no people coming around with their unwritten rules, coming around here making trouble for all of you guys.
Yeah.
So
Are you
I
basically
really think...
saying? I think what you're basically saying, and just let me sort of, paraphrase you, probably completely incorrectly and and unfairly here. But what you're really saying is that LinkedIn is the platform for old boring farts, and because of that, people that are old boring farts like me love it because we just feel comfortable there because it's a safe space where we kind of understand the technology. We can just keep abreast of it enough. It is changing.
Right. No. So some of it, I think what you're saying is exactly how I feel, and some of it isn't. So first of all, I don't think everyone on the platform is boring old farts. I think loads of people on this platform, and I spend time in this community, actually have plenty of really great things to say.
Great.
Okay, so that's the first thing I think you're wrong about. I do not think everyone is boring old fart on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Do I think you like it because you think every other piece of social media is really scary and LinkedIn's the one you feel most comfortable with because it actually has loads of systems that are, now really outdated and 6 years behind. And in modern social media on most platforms, the trends change every week. And on LinkedIn, I've seen trends stick around for half a year. Yeah, I do think that's probably nice for people that don't have a load of time. I was introduced to LinkedIn about 14 years ago by a 20-year-old employee. Hey, that's cool. That 20-year-old employee is now 34, which puts him squarely outside the range of what's trendy on social media. But
you've got to also remember back then, Scott, that a lot of the other social medias weren't as they are now. So,
I mean, what was that? 2006? My mental
math. I mean, we were all trying to navigate away from MySpace and stuff like that back then. Do you know what I mean?
I was about to say MySpace. Google Plus was probably still a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone
had AOL dial-up accounts. It was pretty native.
Instagram wasn't even invented for another 4 years. No. I mean, that should put it into perspective for you, right? So Instagram is, for those that don't know the full evolution cycle that social media goes through, it's a carnivorous cycle basically. So you have Facebook, and what happens is Facebook took over from MySpace, so we can even start back at MySpace, but you have MySpace, right? What happens is everyone's on MySpace, and originally that's a load of young people that are all enjoying MySpace, and they think they're really hip because there's no one on MySpace but them. And then it becomes so big that all your parents and stuff like that go onto MySpace as well. That's great. That's great that we're all sharing this space together. But we would like our own space as well. So we move on to another platform. That was Facebook. So everyone moved over to Facebook, and loads of people stayed on MySpace until MySpace just became this thing where not everyone was there, and so it shut down.
Yeah.
So then everyone moved over to Facebook. And that happened in about 2009. And then the person that owned Facebook decided in 2010 that they needed to create a new platform that was essentially just Facebook with a new skin on top of it that all the young people went to. And they actually spent, if you look back at the company history of Instagram and what Meta the company that's now Meta did, how much money they spent to make sure that old people didn't know about Instagram for the longest amount of time. It is crazy.
I'm just going to share this very quickly whilst we're talking about here. Here we go. Most popular web browsers, 1996. So if we're going back that sort of time, 1996. Look at that, Internet Explorer at the top there.
Oh,
36.72% of the Firefox and Chrome just beginning to come up. Okay, so that is, if you have a look at that now, if you had a look at that kind of statistic now, it's swung completely the other way. All right, so just thinking about that, Chrome compared with Internet Explorer, it just went. In fact, if you ever watch the evolutionary cycle of browsers, it's fascinating. It goes sort of like,
it's very similar to social media.
Very similar. You have actually quite a lot of browsers that we don't even know about now, etc. And they will top. And then Internet Explorer came onto the market for years. Internet Explorer gained, had a huge amount in the market. Suddenly, Firefox came in, Mozilla Firefox came in, started to eat away. Then Chrome came in, very, very slim slice of the market. Suddenly, the curve went boom.
All the way Chrome.
And
look, I think LinkedIn's still really valid. I think it's remember Ask Jeeves? You remember that?
And in Carter, yes.
So,
oh my word!
Right, do people in the chat know why Google became so popular and what made Google stand out, or not? I'd love to know about that.
Anybody know why Google became so popular? Oh,
Oh, we should have the countdown clock on.
Oh, yeah, we have the countdown clock. No, I'll tell you what we should do. We should for this we should go back to this. Know why Google became so popular? If you do, put the answer in the chat now.
So, the difference between Ask Jeeves and all of those old programs and Google was as follows. Every other program at the time recommended, ordered the websites and which order you saw your results in based on how many other people visited those websites, which you probably think is a great idea. Sounds awesome, right? What's wrong with that? Well, because it's really easy to snowball or fake that. What Google does is, and it's pretty much the system they still use now because it's patented for them, is they recommend searches based on how many times those websites are referenced on other websites. So it was all about referencing, which meant that you'd actually get more accurate results for what you were trying to Google. Because if you were Googling something and it was like a medical fact, then it would just be all of the overwhelming amount of times that was referenced on a medical journal or something, that would soar it straight to the top, and you get a way more accurate result than someone writing cancer in big bold letters, which is what every other website would do. So that's how Google got its thing. I do not know how we got onto this subject.
We strayed slightly, but I think the point is, that in terms of in terms of how every generation see these technologies coming through, it changes, and ultimately, and we all have to kind of accept it as well, that one generation doesn't mean to say you can't get to understand a technology, you can't get to understand and learn the techniques. Of course you can, but it's much more, any generation that actually grows with a platform actually inherently understands how to use that platform, and actually sets the rules for that platform as well.
Yeah, the best way to think about it is that the generations that are the predominant generation that platform was built for, who are all using it inherently, they are just somehow creating the rules subconsciously, and everyone is picking up on these rules. So for you might have to learn the rules and stuff, but they're just already in it. Right, and look, I'm not immune to this, because I think the next thing that comes after TikTok will not be familiar to me, or I will not know that without having to keep up with it. Because that will be past the design generation for me, I think.
Yeah, which swings us nicely right back full circle to where we began this show this afternoon, which was newsletters, because. And I'll tell you why. Tell you why. And what I did yesterday just proves that fact. And I think that's one of the reasons why possibly my generation or certain of us within my generation really love LinkedIn, there's still the opportunity there to break the rules and actually set the rules and do something with it. What I did yesterday was take the rules of newsletters and I broke the rules. Okay. I didn't violate the platform at all in terms of what you're meant to put in that newsletter, etc. But clearly everybody has jumped on newsletters and just gone, okay, I'm going to turn my blog material or my general newsletter material that I was printing out and sending out to people into newsletter form and put it out on LinkedIn. Be more creative, folks. If you want your newsletter to stand out, you've got to do something very different with that. The mechanism will stay the same regardless of the content that you put into it, right? But if you want your newsletter to stand out in front of everybody else's, don't write a newsletter about stats and statistics on...
Yeah, I mean, what was it the other day? We were talking about changing the format for WoW.
Yeah.
And I said the banner thing is quite outdated and doesn't actually get that many clicks. We should go and do ad spots like every YouTube bit of content. You said that's against the rules, and I said I don't think it is. So we went to the actual terms of service. It's not against the rules. It's not against the terms of service at all. It's just that everyone has done it a certain way for the longest time that it feels like it should be against the rules. Now, so maybe, if you've got a bold idea for what to do with your newsletter, go and check the terms of service. As long as it's fine, as long as it fits in terms of service, go and do it.
And that's the thing, with any of the mechanism. Like yesterday, I saw something quite clever that somebody did on a poll. And I'd never thought about doing that before now. And all of us, even though I am king of the polls and I do poll every day, and it's, that's what I'm known for. All of us can learn all of the time. Somebody yesterday, quite cleverly, because there aren't as many options on polls as sometimes people would like, what he did was go, right, okay, I'm going to do 1 and 2. Here in the actual text, he went, so for 1 and 2, pick A. For 2 and 3, pick this. So what he did is he doubled up on the options, doubling up in the text, and then make it A, B, C, and D. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So what I'm saying there is be really creative with the mechanism. Don't be limited by a mechanism and go, oh, it's only got 4 options, therefore I've got to do it this way. See if you can break it. Every time someone does something that they can break it. Like, for example, there was a period where everybody started doing polls, but without the poll mechanism, by using the emojis down at the bottom. So they would ask a question and go, vote for your favorite using an emoji. Boom. And the first people that did that, it went mad because someone went, oh, that's clever. Boom.
And do you know where that actually started? That started on YouTube, and YouTube did the opposite. Because YouTube went, oh, people are enjoying this. We should add the ability to do a poll on YouTube. And now they're thinking about removing it because people tried it and then found out that the poll feature is just actually not as engaging as just people using the system they had already invented themselves without YouTube interfering. So, your bit of creativity could really boost the platform in a way that could change the platform permanently.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I can't stress it enough. If you want to really stand out on a platform, regardless of what the limitations are, you need to be pushing those limitations. You need to be pushing the mechanism that's available to you. You will actually maybe change the mechanism in time, because if what you do really starts to kick off, the people behind the platform will actually look at it and go, actually, we need to enable this to happen as part of the structure of the program. But it really does take people going, do you know what? Why, rather than just doing text and an image there, can I do this any other way? If you do video, can I do anything clever with video on the platform? that, how can I mix this up a little bit? Can I get? I was talking to. Here's a little secret for everybody. I was talking to someone about business pages, and there's something we're going to do with our business page, right? And I was saying this to a client on Friday. Why is everybody treating their business page as a business page? Because what's the benefit of going to a business page on LinkedIn at the moment? I go to the business page and I see information about the business, right? Clearly, if you've already engaged in the personal profile and you've got a link there to their website and whatever, why do I need the business page? I've done all of that. Now,
don't you find it ironic, right, that LinkedIn is the business platform and the algorithm still doesn't seem to favor business pages over people's pages?
Every client always asks that. How do we get our business page to be the most popular?
Right. Here's the thing. Even on LinkedIn, they don't do it. But there is not a single social media platform in the world right now, currently, that you could go and find a algorithm on that prefers business pages and likes to put business pages in front of people rather than people. And the reason behind that is people don't want to engage with it. It doesn't matter what generation you're from, what you're looking for. 9 times out of 10, you don't want to engage with a business on social media. You want to engage with a person. And that's just the way it is. People just don't want to do it.
No. And
of course you can grow a page, but it's like an uphill battle.
If you're going to do it, you've got to be creative. So I think if you're going to grow your business page, stop thinking about it as a business page. Treat it as a repository for material that nobody can see anywhere else, right? Actually think about it almost like a little fan page where only fans of yours can go and see certain bits. So therefore, only fans.
It's a bit. We're sorry, LinkedIn gods. We're not really talking about it.
We're not talking about that, no. But although
strike us down.
That's got the viewers up later on. So the thing is, think about. Do
you know the top earners on OnlyFans? This was announced literally last month. Top creators on OnlyFans earn 1.5 million or above 1.5 million a month.
Gracious
a month. Can you imagine 1.5 million a month? Right? There's a person called Amarath who has been doing it for less than. They were a streamer.
Yeah.
They were a streamer and then started doing OnlyFans. They've been doing it for less than 9 months and they've got £33 million from it. Total earnings.
Mental.
Belle Delphine, who posts she's now at the level where she posts 4 times a year, and it's all it's not nude stuff. It's clothed stuff but revealing stuff. She is being paid 1.6 mil a month, and she posts 4 times a year basically.
So just to clarify, we're not suggesting.
You do an OnlyFans.
No, but what we're suggesting is that you actually turn your business page into a repository area for stuff that people can only see if they are following your business page. And therefore, you then can tease them about that on your personal page and say, right, you've seen this bit of this material, maybe stuff, and we might start doing outtakes from some of the stuff that we do, for example, or things like that. And we only post it on the business page so that you only get to see that material if you're following the business page.
I have had a thought, right?
Good one.
Okay, so I don't think this is the final thing I think we've got to end on, but I don't think there's anything in the algorithm that favors business pages, right? But when you set up a profile, can you choose whether it's a business page or a person page?
No, you set up a personal page, and then from your personal page, you create the business page.
So could you not just create a second personal page that is your business, but it acts as a personal page? It would still do better in the algorithm than a business page.
It's
probably against TOS.
It is against the terms, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But you could just say you didn't understand it. You just.
The best thing to do.
Not my advice. If
you've
got a small company.
The best thing to do. We're gonna start experimenting with our business page and see if we can find a way of really organically bringing people into the business page in a fun way, because clearly the way that it's done at the moment is not fun. Okay, so let's
people do it. Yeah, of course they do, because it's the only way to actually get a business page up there algorithm wise.
It is absolutely. People do it. You shouldn't do it against the terms and conditions.
We're not officially recommending you do it.
You know, okay? But there's lots of things in life that you shouldn't do that people do. I'll just put that there as well.
Maybe we'll just get to how loads of companies grow their pages, giveaways. But considering we just do social media, I'm not sure what we could give away.
Well, I think maybe I will work with supplier. I think maybe I'll work with somebody to do some giveaways if people come onto our business page, but at the same time they join a kind of club when they do that, and actually there will be content on there that you won't see anywhere else. And I think that's what it's all about. It shouldn't be about it should not be about, oh, this is what we do as a business. It should be about, over here, this is the content
fun. Just extra fun.
It's the extra
fun channel.
Yeah, it's just channel number 2. It's our BBC X. There we go.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to leave you all today. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for getting. Oh, it's really warm today, isn't it? Hope you're going to go get a cold one now.
Hope you get out of here. I'm going to close my eyes, and when I come back, I hope you're all gone. I hope you're not here anymore. I'm not leaving. You're leaving.
Be back. We'll be back at 11 a.m. next week, usual time on this channel. Let people know. Tag some other people that you know in to rewatch this, etc. So let's build it up for next week. Until then, for now,
go and find some people on LinkedIn and tag them that are actual LinkedIn employees. Make them watch this. Make them look at how serious we are. Yeah. Start a revolution. It's Friday. This is a better way to do Friday.
Amen.
Bye for now.